All right, guys, so EA just did their special stream where they showed us the first promo of Ultimate Team for Madden 23. It's called the Headliners promo, and they also showed us the top 10 quarterback rankings. And so with all this new content coming out for Madden 23, which drops in just 2 weeks, I think it's August 16th if you pre-order and August 19th if you don't, with just 2 weeks until then, I figure this is the best time to make a top 10 list of the players I think will be the best players in Madden Ultimate Team at launch of Madden 23. So at honorable mention, I've got middle linebacker Fred Warner, and that's because linebackers, I think, are making a big comeback in Madden 23. If you guys don't know, after the closed beta feedback, EA came out and said that they were applying a significant penalty to safety subbed in at linebackers on run plays. And with a lot of people speculating that this could be a run-heavy game because of how much better zones are, there's a good chance that you're going to have to take your linebackers seriously in Madden 23, while in previous years, we just subbed in safeties and we never really gave linebackers a second thought. And so with that in mind, at honorable mention, Fred Warner at 86 speed and being 6'3", I think he is a linebacker who everyone's going to have at the middle linebacker spot at launch, at least if you're running the best team possible. Now at number 10 on my list, guys, is defensive tackle Sam Adams. And you may be saying, why the hell is this guy on your list? And that's because this guy is 350 pounds. He is massive on the defensive line. And if you remember players from Madden 22 like Richard Seymour, when the players get that heavy, their player models are just humongous. And with a player model that big, you're going to trigger a lot of tackle animations when people are trying to run the ball in a gap on either side of that player. And so again, with a really good chance that there's a heavy run meta this year, I think having a defensive tackle who's 350 pounds and just enormous on the defensive line is going to be a must-have for trying to stop that meta. And so there's really nothing particularly great about his stats. I mean, 88 power move is good. There might be a threshold at 90 that he's not going to hit. 70 finesse move is not good. 84 tackle is fine. His speed is nothing special, but this guy being 350 pounds in a game where I really think weight matters, especially if you're used to the next-gen movement. I feel like on next-gen, weight is really important. So Sam Adams at 350 pounds, he is who I have at number 10 for my top 10 launch players. Now at number 9, guys, this also might be controversial, but I'm going with halfback Derrick Henry. Now, there are other running backs who almost definitely will be more sought after than Derrick Henry. He's only 84 speed, which is not particularly fast for the launch. There are running backs that are 85 or 86 speed, but Derrick Henry does one thing that no one else can do, and it's once again related to weight, and it's that he can air truck. Now, if you guys don't know, any player who's over 245 pounds when they're carrying the ball, you can just spam the right stick for trucking, and you really don't lose any momentum. And then if someone comes to try and tackle you, you have a pretty good chance of getting that truck animation and running them over. And especially last year, when paired with the bulldozer ability, air trucking with people was ridiculous. And so again, I think that in a running year, the only running back who can air truck at launch, I think this is absolutely a player who you'll want to consider on your team. Now, obviously, if you are passing the ball more, his catch rating is only 56, and so that's not the best. But if you are looking for a power run scheme, then Derrick Henry, I think, is absolutely going to be the best running back for you. And so that's number 9 for me. Let's go on to number 8. Now at number 8, guys, is the fastest safety in the game, and that is free safety Daxton Hill. He is 86 speed, which, again, like I said, he's the fastest safety that I could find. If I'm missing someone, then let me know. But not only is he 86 speed, but he's also 6 feet tall. And there's 2 big things that you guys are going to see for the rest of this list, and that is we want to prioritize speed and prioritize height. And especially with the way the beta was playing, where it seems like the ag catches are back with the tall wide receivers, where people will click on, kind of, pull the receiver just in front of where the ball is projected to go, and then press Y or triangle to aggressive catch it and basically do a rocket catch. You're going to want tall defensive backs. And so a 6-foot safety is, not ideal. Obviously, we're going to want 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", if possible. But for at launch, the combination of speed and height for Daxton Hill, I think makes him absolutely a must-have, and that's why Daxton Hill is number 8. Now at number 7, guys, is cornerback Kaiir Elam, and once again, we're talking about his speed and his height. And this guy is 6'2" and 86 speed at corner, and I've got him as the second best cornerback in the game. You may also be saying, well, what about Jalen Ramsey? Well, Jalen Ramsey is 6'1" and 86 speed. Kaiir Elam is 6'2" and 86 speed. And while we're not hitting any of the thresholds, which again, as far as I know, should be 90, I'm going to take the most height and speed possible. And that's why I've got Kaiir Elam at number 7. Hopefully he'll be able to go up and get those interceptions against those super tall receivers people will be running. And I don't know how long he'll be viable. I feel like probably for a good month or two, just because he is 6'2" and there's not that many tall corners in the game. I guess we'll see. But I think that his height and his speed mean he's a must-have at launch. That's number 7. Let's go on to number 6. Now, moving on to number 6, guys, I have wide receiver Tyquan Thornton. I'm not quite sure why Mataudi's picture is so small. I had to zoom in a little bit. I'll have to talk to Mataudi about that one. But once again, we are talking about speed and height. And he is also 86 speed, which is, for the most part, the fastest speed we're seeing, with just a couple of exceptions here and there. But 86 speed seems to be the cap on most players in the game. And Tyquan Thornton is 6'3". And so in this arms race of fastest and tallest cornerbacks versus fastest and tallest wide receivers, I think Tyquan Thornton is a must-have with that 86 speed. 84 jump isn't amazing, but again, it's launch, so it's fine. And his 6'3" height. Hopefully, I mean, if things are playing like the beta, then we'll be able to use him to ag the DBs, and if we're on the flip side of it, get very frustrated by it. I'm not in love with that being the meta, but the reality is that's probably what we're going to face, at least early on in the game. But that's why Tyquan Thornton is number 6. Let's go on to number 5. Now at number 5 is halfback Joe Mixon, and this is probably going to be who most people are using at running back when the game launches. He is 86 speed, which, like I said, seems to be that speed cap for most players in the game, but he also comes with some baked-in abilities. So he comes with backfield mismatch, which, if you don't know, basically means if he is in man coverage, he's going to essentially have like route technician on any cuts. So like your Texas routes, your in routes, your out routes, he's going to get crazy separation. And also he's going to get really good animations on the catches if there's tight man coverage on him. And so backfield mismatch is a really good ability. And even though he's only got 69 catching, he's either going to be catching the ball in like wide open space, in which case the 69 catch really doesn't matter, or he'll have the backfield mismatch helping him out. And so that's a really great ability. And then the X factor is first one free. Don't think it matters that much, but I think it helps you. It gives you a high chance of winning like a juke or spin against the next defender you go up against, or something like that. Most importantly is his 86 speed, his 88 break tackle. I mean, very solid stats all around, great carrying, and that baked-in backfield mismatch, which you can take off, by the way, if you don't want it. You can take off the baked-in ability, but I'm going to guess a lot of people are going to use Joe Mixon for the speed plus backfield mismatch, which is why I have him at number 5 on this list. Now at number 4 is cornerback Caleb Farley, and I think this guy has flown under the radar a little bit because he's only an 82 overall, because not only is he 87 speed, but he is also 6'2". I think that the most important thing, unless EA proves us otherwise, is going to be the height and the speed. Maybe it turns out his play rec is going to be a detriment. Maybe he won't react to the ball very quickly because his zone coverage is slightly lower and his play rec is bad. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love for those stats to matter. But at the end of the day in Madden, almost always height and speed are going to trump almost everything else. It's not an absolute, but a lot of times those are going to be the most important things. Caleb Farley, definitely get him on your team, and hopefully he won't even be that expensive at only an 82 overall. Because, you know, the people who don't take MUT seriously, you know, they might see the 82 overall and might not want him. But with the height and the speed, I think he will absolutely be a valuable asset to your team. And that's why I've got him at number 4. Now at number 3, guys, is Divine Diablo, who has been moved to right outside linebacker. And this is for similar reasoning that I was talking about Fred Warner earlier in the video. Basically, I think linebackers are going to be really important this year. And to have a 6'3" linebacker who is 86 speed is really valuable, but also he comes with the ability no outsiders baked in. Now, I feel like we don't see a ton of no outsiders online, especially in Madden 22. Most people are passing the ball, and it just wasn't worth using the ability no outsiders. But if you guys have ever gone against it and you tried to run outside, this was probably one of the best abilities in the game in terms of it consistently lighting up and doing what it's supposed to do, which basically, if there was an outside run to that side, that defender would immediately block shed, and you basically had nowhere to run. And so in a game that has a decent chance of being run heavy, having a player at launch who is 6'3", 86 speed, and has baked in no outsiders, this could be extremely valuable in the run game. And so be on the lookout for Divine Diablo to be on a lot of teams at launch. Now at number 2, this is where things start to get really fun. I have Donald Parham Jr., the tight end. He is 85 speed, which is already pretty good for a tight end. But guys, what you can't see from this card is that this guy is 6'8". I didn't know that was possible. I didn't know there was anyone in the game who was that tall. I knew like Jimmy Graham last year was 6'7", and maybe Ted Hendricks was as well, and that was already ridiculous. This guy is 6'8" at tight end with 85 speed at launch. He's going to be almost as fast as all the linebackers and cornerbacks he's going up against. And he also has built-in mid-out elite and also a double meet X factor. This might be the most expensive card in the game at launch, with the exception of maybe number 1. But this is going to be such a highly coveted card. I have not seen a tight end that comes anywhere close to being this much of a weapon on offense. Now, his run block is really bad, so maybe if people are trying to have run schemes, maybe they don't want him. Although in my experience, these run block ratings on tight ends really don't matter anyway. It seems like they all just blocked equally bad. His strength, I don't think that really matters. I mean, I think that the 85 speed and the fact that he's 6'8", and especially, I heard Civil mention it on his stream, with the fact that like seam routes, so imagine like a tight end on a seam and high balls this year, you basically rat catching high balls, to a guy who's 6'8". This is going to be an extremely overpowered card at launch if the game plays anything like the beta did. And so Donald Parham Jr., I have a feeling is going to be on every single team for anyone who's trying to take it seriously. That's why he's number 2. He's almost the most overpowered card in the game, but not quite as glitchy as number 1. So let's get to that right now. And finally, guys, at number 1, we have cornerback L'Jarius Sneed, and there is so much to like about this card. Right off the bat, you can see that he is 88 speed, which as far as I know is going to be the fastest, maybe tied for the fastest card at launch. Maybe if a Tyreek Hill receiver card comes out, who maybe they'll also give 88 speed. But this is by far the fastest card of everything we've looked at and everything that I've seen. Not only that, he is also 6'1". We talked about height being important for our defensive backs. 6'1" at cornerback is extremely solid, plus the 88 speed, plus he has baked in pick arts. And if you played Madden 22, by the end of the year, pick arts was a must-have if you wanted to catch your picks, and I can see it being a pretty good ability in Madden 23 as well. Now, on the beta, defenders were catching picks better, but it was still not perfect. And so pick arts, it absolutely cannot hurt to give yourself an improved chance of catching picks, especially if people are trying to throw like jump balls to the receivers. I feel like this is going to give you a better chance of getting a good animation. He has the universal coverage X factor. There is no way that L'Jarius Sneed is not going to be on all the top teams in the game. He's too good. He's too fast, plus being tall, plus the baked-in pick artist. This guy is going to be expensive at launch, but he's an incredible card, and he's probably going to be viable for a while because it's going to take a long time for there to be more cornerbacks with this speed plus that height that eventually will push him out. So definitely for at least a month or two, this guy's going to be hanging around and probably getting a lot of picks for you on your field if you can afford him. But guys, that is my list of the top 10 players for Madden 23 at launch. As I said, let me know in the comments below what you agree with or disagree with, or if I completely missed on one or several cards, which is entirely possible. Either way, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.